Level 1. 0 to 100 subscribers. This is where every single YouTuber starts, including the ones with 10 million subscribers who now pretend they were never here. A bedroom, a bad camera, and absolutely no idea what you're doing. You upload your first video. You wait. You refresh the page. 0 views. You refresh again. Still 0. You tell yourself it just needs time. It doesn't need time. Nobody knows you exist yet, and that's the hardest truth of day 1. Your first subscriber is your mom. Your second is probably your cousin. You tell yourself that's fine. Everyone starts somewhere. What you don't tell yourself is that you refreshed your subscriber count 17 times that day just to make sure it wasn't going back down. You spend more time watching other YouTubers than actually making videos. You study their thumbnails, their titles, their hooks. You're trying to reverse engineer success from the outside, not knowing yet that the only way to actually learn this is to keep uploading and keep failing. Recording is agony at first. You say the wrong thing, you stop, you delete, you start again. You spend 3 hours recording a 5-minute video. You watch it back and cringe at every second of it. You upload it anyway. That decision, to upload something imperfect rather than nothing at all, is that the most important decision you will ever make as a creator. Editing takes forever when you don't know what you're doing. You spend 4 hours cutting a video that should take 45 minutes. You learn keyboard shortcuts the hard way. You accidentally delete a whole section and have to redo it. You finish at 2 a.m. and your eyes hurt. But the video's done, and tomorrow you start the next one. The analytics page becomes an obsession. You check it every morning, every evening, sometimes in the middle of the night. A flat line stares back at you. No growth, no momentum. Just you and the uncomfortable reality that making content nobody watches is a very specific kind of loneliness. Then one day, a comment. Not from your mom, not from your cousin, from a complete stranger who found your video, watched it, and took 30 seconds out of their day to tell you they liked it. You read it 4 times. You screenshot it. That one comment does more for your motivation than anything else that has happened so far. You buy a ring light. $20. It's the first real investment you make in this channel. You set it up, you sit down, and you press record. The video looks noticeably better. Not good, but better. And better is all that matters right now. Every upload is a small improvement on the last one. That's the only system that actually works. 100 subscribers. It takes most people months to get here. For some, it takes years. You stare at that number and it doesn't feel like much, because objectively, it isn't. But 100 real people looked at what you made and decided they wanted to see more. That's not nothing. That's everything. Because every channel that ever hit 1 million started exactly here. Level 2. 1,000 subscribers. The number that changes everything, not because of what it gives you, but because of what it means. 1,000 real people chose your channel. 1,000 people said yes to what you're making. You sit alone in your room staring at that number and feel something you can't quite explain. You tell your family. Your mom smiles and says, "That's great, sweetheart." Your dad nods and asks if you can make money from that. Your little sibling doesn't look up from their phone. Nobody fully understands what this means yet, including you, but you know something shifted. You apply for the YouTube Partner Program, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. You finally hit both. You submit the application and then you wait. The review takes up to a month. You check your email 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks. The email arrives on a Wednesday morning. Approved. You are now a member of the YouTube Partner Program. You read it twice. Then you do something embarrassing that you will never admit to anyone. You sit back down, open your channel, and look at it differently now. This is a business. A small one. But a real one. Your first month of monetization earns you 43 cents. You screenshot it. Not because it's impressive, it absolutely isn't, but because it's real. Someone paid you money to make videos. The amount is irrelevant. The fact that the system works is everything. You now have proof that this path leads somewhere. You reinvest every dollar back into the channel. A better microphone, a proper desk lamp, a paid editing software subscription. None of it is glamorous, but each upgrade removes one more excuse and forces you to focus on what actually matters, the content itself. Your first real negative comment arrives. Not constructive criticism, just someone who decided your video wasn't worth their time and wanted you to know it. You rate it once, twice, 5 times. You think about responding. You don't. You close the laptop. You open it again. You learn something important that day. The internet has opinions about everything, and your job is to make videos, not to manage strangers' feelings about them. Something changes around video 15 or 20. You stop thinking about the camera. You stop rehearsing every sentence. You just talk, and the videos get noticeably better, not because your equipment improved, but because you stopped being afraid of yourself on screen. That comfort took months to build. It cannot be faked or rushed. Someone recognizes you in public for the first time. It happens in the most ordinary place. A grocery store, a coffee shop, somewhere completely unremarkable. A stranger looks at you and says, "Hey, aren't you that guy from YouTube?" You say yes. They say, "I watch your videos." You say thank you. You walk away and stand in an aisle for a full minute processing what just happened. The growth is slow, painfully slow by any standard. But for the first time, the line on your analytics is going up instead of sitting flat. You're not going viral, you're not trending, you're just growing, steadily, quietly, one subscriber at a time. And that's exactly how every big channel you've ever watched got here, one subscriber at a time. Level 3, 10,000 subscribers. You remember when 100 felt impossible. You remember when 1,000 felt like the ceiling. Now you're sitting here with 10,000 real people subscribed to something you built in your bedroom with no budget, no connections, and no guarantee it would ever work. Let that sink in for a second. You finally buy a real camera, not a webcam, not your phone, a proper camera with a real lens. You set it up, you press record, and the difference is immediately visible. Your videos look professional for the first time, and you realize something uncomfortable. You could have bought this 6 months ago. The only thing that was holding you back was believing you weren't ready for it yet. Your first brand deal email arrives. A company wants to pay you to mention their product in a video. The offer is small, maybe $100, maybe $200. You read the email 4 times. You forward it to nobody because you don't know anyone who would understand why this is a big deal. You accept it. You film the sponsored segment 17 times before you're happy with it. This is the beginning of YouTube being an actual income source. Your on-camera presence has transformed. You watch videos from 6 months ago and barely recognize yourself. The stiffness, the awkward pauses, the way you looked like you were reading from a script even when you weren't. The person on camera now is comfortable, natural, and actually watchable. You didn't study for this. You just showed up enough times that it became normal. You start understanding your analytics properly, not just subscriber count, but click-through rate, average view duration, impressions. You learn which videos your audience actually finishes and which ones they click away from after 30 seconds. This data is more valuable than any YouTube advice video you've ever watched. Your own audience is telling you exactly what they want. The question is whether you're listening. YouTube starts bleeding into everything. You're scripting videos in coffee shops. You're thinking about thumbnail ideas in the shower. You see something happen in real life and your first thought is that would make a good video. The line between your life and your channel is disappearing. For most people, that would be a problem. For you, it's starting to feel like the point. You connect with other creators for the first time. Not big names, other people at roughly your level, figuring it out the same way you are. You talk about thumbnails, about algorithms, about burnout. You realize that this journey is significantly less lonely when you're not doing it alone. The creator community is one of the things nobody tells you about when you start, but it becomes one of the most valuable things about doing this. One of your videos takes off. Not viral, but significantly bigger than anything you've posted before. 10 times your normal views. You study it obsessively, trying to understand why. Was it the title, the thumbnail, the topic, the algorithm? You never fully figure it out, but you try to recreate those elements in every video going forward. This is the point where YouTube stops being a hobby and starts being a craft. Burnout hits for the first time. You sit down to script a video and nothing comes. Not writer's block, deeper than that. A tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. You've been posting consistently for months and the growth, while real, feels slower than the effort you're putting in. This is the point where most creators quietly stop. They don't announce it. They just post less and less until they disappear. You know this, and that knowledge is the only thing that makes you open the laptop again. 10,000 subscribers. You look around the room. Better camera, better mic, better lighting, better everything, and you compare it to the bedroom with the webcam on a stack of books. Same person, same channel, but everything else has changed. The next milestone is 100,000. It feels impossibly far away right now, just like 10,000 once did. Level 4. 100,000 subscribers. You've been chasing this number for so long that when it actually arrives, you don't know how to react. You sit there staring at it, 6 figures, 100,000 real people. You think about the bedroom, the webcam, the 43 cents. And then you just sit there in the dark, quietly, for a long time. The silver play button arrives in the mail. You open the package slowly. It's heavier than you expected. You hold it up and look at your name engraved on it. Your channel name, the one you came up with alone in your room, wondering if anyone would ever watch. You hang it on the wall. Then you sit back down and start working on the next video. Because this is a milestone, not a finish line. Your setup is unrecognizable from where you started. Professional camera, proper lighting rig, acoustic treatment on the walls. You've built a real studio inside your home. Every piece of equipment was paid for by the channel itself. The channel that started with a webcam on a stack of books is now funding its own infrastructure. That's not luck. That's compounding effort over time. The brand deals are real now, not emails from unknown companies offering $50, actual meetings with marketing teams from recognizable brands. They show you media kits and campaign briefs. They ask about your demographics and engagement rates. You sit across the table from them and realize you've accidentally become someone that businesses want to work with. You negotiate, you set rates, you start treating this like what it actually is, a business. Your monthly AdSense earnings cross 4 figures for the first time. It's not enough to live on, not yet, but it's real money. Money that came entirely from videos you made in your spare room. You think about every person who told you this wasn't a real career path. You don't feel angry about it. You feel something quieter than that. You feel proved right. The comment section changes at this scale. Thousands of comments on every video now. Most are positive, some are genuinely funny, but the critical ones hit differently when there are more of them. You develop a thicker skin, not because you stop caring, but because you learn to separate useful feedback from noise. That skill takes longer to develop than any editing technique. Imposter syndrome arrives properly at this level. You have 100,000 subscribers and you still feel like you don't deserve it. You watch bigger creators and feel like your content isn't good enough. You spend a week convinced that your next video will be the one that exposes you as someone who got lucky. It won't be, but the feeling never fully goes away. Every creator you admire feels this. None of them talk about it enough. Being recognized in public is no longer a rare surprise. It happens regularly now. People stop you for photos. People tag you in their stories. You learn to be gracious every single time, because every person who approaches you took a chance on being awkward to tell you your work mattered to them. That never stops being meaningful, even when it happens 100 times. You hire your first editor. It's a strange moment handing over something you've done entirely yourself for years to someone else. You spend 2 weeks writing a detailed brief trying to explain your vision. The first edit comes back and it's good. Not exactly what you would have done, but good. You realize that letting go of control is what allows you to scale. You can't do everything forever. You stand in front of the silver play button on your wall and you think about the 1,000,000 subscribers. 3 months ago, that felt like a fantasy. Now it feels like a direction. You know what you need to do, keep making videos, keep improving, keep showing up. The formula hasn't changed. Only the scale has. And scale, you're learning, changes everything. Level 5. 1,000,000 subscribers. There is no way to prepare for this moment. You've thought about it hundreds of times, what you'd feel, what you'd do, who you'd call, and when it actually happens, you just sit there, alone, in the dark, staring at a number that doesn't feel real. 1,000,000 people. 1,000,000. The gold play button arrives. It's bigger than the silver one, heavier. You hold it and think about every video you almost didn't upload, every week you almost quit, every comment that made you want to stop. This thing in your hands is the physical proof that you didn't. You hang it next to the silver one. Then you sit back down and open your laptop. You rent a real office, not because you need one, you could keep working from home, but because the channel now employs 3 people and running a team from your bedroom doesn't work anymore. You walk into the space on the first day, look around, and think about the webcam on the stack of books. The distance between that moment and this one is measured in years of showing up when you didn't feel like it. The brand deals at this level are a different category entirely. You're not responding to cold emails anymore. Brands are reaching out through your management team. The numbers on the table have more zeros than anything you discussed at 10,000 subscribers. You negotiate differently now. You know your value. And you've learned to walk away from deals that don't fit your audience, no matter how large the number. Your income is no longer just AdSense. Brand deals, merchandise, memberships, courses, speaking engagements, multiple streams all feeding from the same channel. You have a spreadsheet now that tracks all of it. You review it every month with the same focus you once gave to checking if your subscriber count went up by 1. The channel became a company. You became its CEO. Nobody taught you how to do either of those things. Creator events are part of the job now. VidCon, brand summits, industry panels. You walk into rooms full of people who know your name. You meet creators you watched when you were starting out and they know who you are. The industry you once observed from the outside is now an industry you're part of. That shift in identity takes longer to process than any subscriber milestone. The pressure at 1 million is unlike anything at previous levels. 1 million people are waiting for your next video. If you post and it underperforms, 1 million people saw it fail. If you take a week off, 1 million people notice. The algorithm doesn't care that you're tired. The audience doesn't know you're struggling. You learn to carry the weight quietly. Most creators at this level do. You stop mid-take one afternoon and ask yourself something you haven't asked in years. Why am I still doing this? Not in a quitting way, in a realigning way. The answer matters more at 1 million than it did at 0. Because at 0, the dream kept you going. At 1 million, the dream is real. And now you need a deeper reason to keep building it. A message arrives from a viewer, not a comment, a real message. They tell you that your videos helped them through something difficult, that on days when nothing felt okay, they put on your content and felt less alone. You read it 3 times, and you remember why you started. Not for the play buttons, not for the brand deals, for this, for the person on the other side of the screen who needed something and found it in what you made. 1 million subscribers. You stand in your office at the end of a long day and look at those 2 buttons on the wall. You think about the 100 million. It feels like the distance between 0 and 1 million felt when you were starting out, which means it's possible, which means there's only one thing left to do. Sit back down, open the laptop, and make the next video. Level 6, 100 million subscribers. There are no words for this moment that haven't already been cheapened by overuse. So let's just sit with the number for a second. 100 million people. That's larger than the population of most countries on Earth. And every single one of them found your channel. The one that started in a bedroom with a webcam on a stack of books. The red diamond play button. Less than a handful of channels in the entire history of YouTube have ever received one. You hold it and think about every creator who told you to be realistic, every person who said YouTube was too saturated, every algorithm change that tried to set you back. This thing in your hands is the answer to all of it. Your company employs dozens of people now. Writers, editors, producers, managers, designers, community managers, an entire organization built around a YouTube channel. You walk through the office and think about the day you hired your first editor and felt strange about it. Now, you run a media company. You didn't plan for this. You just kept making videos until this is what it became. Traditional media comes to you now. Television networks, publishing houses, streaming platforms. People who once represented an industry that dismissed YouTube as a passing trend are now sitting across from you with proposals. You listen politely. You take your time. You've learned that the greatest negotiating position is not needing what the other side is offering. You sell out a live event. Thousands of people in a single venue, all there because of videos you made in your spare room. You stand backstage before going out and listen to the sound of that crowd. You think about the 0 views on your first video. The silence of that moment and the noise of this one are separated by nothing except time and stubbornness. You watch your first video sometimes. The bad lighting, the awkward pauses, the way you clearly had no idea what you were doing. You don't cringe at it anymore. You feel something closer to gratitude for the version of yourself who pressed upload on something that wasn't ready, who kept going when nothing was working, who treated the camera like it was already an audience of millions, even when it was an audience of none. Fame at this scale changes the texture of ordinary life. You can't walk through a grocery store without being recognized. You can't sit in a coffee shop without someone approaching. You find quiet places, parks, early mornings, small towns nobody expects you to be in. You protect your private self more carefully than any business asset, because the person behind the channel is the source of everything the channel produces. Losing yourself means losing everything. You mentor other creators now, young people who are exactly where you were: bedroom, bad camera, no views, pure hope. You tell them the same things you wish someone had told you, that consistency matters more than talent, that the algorithm is not your enemy, your own inconsistency is. That the only difference between the channels that make it and the ones that don't is that the ones that make it never permanently stopped. And then you press record, same as always. Because here is what 100 million subscribers actually teaches you: the number changes, the pressure changes, the scale changes. But the moment before you press record never changes. It's still just you and the camera and something you want to say. That's all it ever was. That's all it will ever be. 3 buttons on a wall: silver, gold, red diamond. Each one represents a version of you that didn't quit when quitting was the easier choice. The bedroom, the 43 cents, the flat analytics line, the first comment from a stranger, the burnout, the imposter syndrome, the million people waiting, the 100 million. It was never about the numbers. It was about who you became while chasing them. And that person, the one standing here now looking at these 3 buttons, that person started with nothing but a camera, a bedroom, and the stubborn belief that someone out there might want to watch.